Good evening, Toastmaster, fellow members and guests. My love for Scotland started from a very early age. I was brought up with my older brother and sister just outside Balfron in Stirlingshire, very close to Loch Lomond. You could say I had a silver spoon upbringing. I lived in a big house surrounded by woodlands and fields with stunning views of the Campsie Fells beyond. It was idyllic. I had many family pets. You could say it was a small holding. There were sheep, hens, ducks, geese, donkeys, ponies, and streams of dogs and cats coming in and out of my life at various intervals. I had many memories of keeping newborn lambs alive, only to be eating them months later for Sunday lunch. I certainly learned how to care for animals and where my food comes from. I've always been a thrill seeker, an adrenaline junkie, and the many country pursuits I've taken part in have allowed me to develop that passion for danger and fear, the things that really get the adrenaline pumping. It all started age 6, when I jumped off a garage roof for a bet. It was a bet my uncle made. I also loved throwing myself off the 10-metre diving board at the Kirkintilloch Baths instead of learning to swim. I dabbled in horse riding. It was the eventing, the cross-country competitions that really got me going. With my pony Misty, who was definitely on the same wavelength, we galloped along the courses at high speed, flying over the jumps. I was always slightly out of control, but I would shut my eyes, grab on, and really hope for the best that nothing horrible would happen. It was a white-knuckle ride that was full of panic, but that was always a feeling that I searched for ever since. I've definitely found it in skiing, a sport I truly love, and something that I never want to give up. It's definitely like a drug to me. For many years I was a poor skier, but that didn't matter. It was the speed of being the wrong side of control that really was the rush. I've been on numerous group ski holidays, many with my brother, who also shares the thrill-seeking gene and is slightly unhinged on skis, just like me. We used to egg each other on to make more extreme activities for every different holiday. It involved jumps, a lot of jumps. One particular occasion, I saw a jump on the side of a piste. I went flying through the air and ended up slap bang against a pine tree, clutching on for dear life as I slid down to the bottom. On another trip, there was what I thought, a little jump, but to my horror, as I flew through the air yet again, there was a huge drop, and I fell into a queue of skiers who were waiting for a lift. I crashed badly. Luckily didn't take anyone out, but retreated from the devastation after a lot of abuse from many Germans who were not amused. I've even been off a competition jump, the ones the athletes fly through the air and over huge distances. This one was a junior training jump, although it didn't seem like it at the time. As I climbed what felt like 1,000 steps, my Dutch courage, about 3 pints of beer, definitely left me. It was terrifying. But I couldn't go back. I headed off, and it was an incredible thrill as I flew down the jump. But there was a disappointing flop at the end as I flopped over the edge and wiped out, skis flying in every direction. And the most embarrassing thing was the mass hysteria of the French crowds who had gathered to watch these mad, eccentric British skiers making idiots of themselves. Since then, my wife Sally has taught me to ski well and in control. And my two of my kids share the same passion for speed and jumping. So I've managed to indulge them and encourage them remorselessly, always racing down the slopes and finding the biggest jumps. However, change is afoot in my quest for adrenaline-fueled thrills. I had my first major ski accident at Christmas when I was in Austria. I followed my son, who's only 16, off a jump. He landed it perfectly. I crashed badly. I knocked myself out as I hit the icy slope and cut myself, with blood flowing everywhere. I was told I was out for an hour and had to be taken off the hill in a blood wagon. And for those of you who don't know, a blood wagon is like a stretcher on a sledge, I suppose. I was taken by ambulance to a hospital where I had x-rays and stitches. I was very lucky not to break any bones and anything worse. My wife and kids had a serious scare. And so I promised no more mad antics on skis. And I have an obligation for no more madness of any kind. So time has come for me to give up my thrill-seeking ways and stick to trail running and other slightly more gentle activities. And I think Sally will be happy with this official announcement this evening. Thank you.